so much for joining me this afternoon for our 2:30 Stellar Sea Lion Training and Feeding Program. How are you guys doing this afternoon? Are you doing good? Yeah? Right on. Oh, yes. Awesome. All right, cool. I'll pump up the energy. Don't worry, I promise. My name is Brianne. I'm one of the interpreters here at the Vancouver Aquarium, coming at you from the very front of the glass over here. And I'm going to be joined by a few of our marine mammal trainers in just a moment here to work with the stellar sea lions in this habitat. As we're getting started, if you're just rolling up to this program right now, I'll just kindly ask that you keep this whole area along the glass here clear, as it is where myself and eventually our marine mammal trainers will be working from. So just so we can do our work safely, I'll ask you guys to just keep back if that's all right. As we're getting started here, I would really like to just acknowledge that we are all gathered today on the unceded and traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, and I'd like to truly thank them for caring for these lands and waters since time out of mind. So thank you so much for joining me for this training program here with these stellar sea lions in this habitat today. We're going to see some training and some feeding. We're going to learn about why we train here at the aquarium, how we train, and we're going to learn that the relationship between the trainers and the animals here under our care are the foundation to all of the work that we're actually able to do. So in this habitat we have one male stellar sea lion and a couple of female stellar sea lions who I think went off to the back there to work with some of our marine mammal trainers. This guy right here we're looking at, this is Amac. He had his 10th birthday this summer and he was weighed last week at a whopping 650 kilograms. So he is truly a big boy, if you will. So we do these training sessions twice a day, at least every day, here at the aquarium for 3 key reasons. The first reason that we train here at the aquarium is for physical exercise. Stellar sea lions are highly active animals that have to constantly move around in their environment in search of their next meal or to avoid becoming the meal of predators like orcas and sharks. So that requires a lot of physical energy. So these training sessions helps to mimic those physical demands they meet out in the ocean with those high energy behaviors like that massive breach we just saw from AMAC here a moment ago. Think of it like stellar sea lion gym class. By taking care of his body, we're able to work out the different muscle groups and also work out his heart. So that is important for maintaining a very healthy animal, the way we have to maintain our own health with things like going to the gym or playing on sports teams. Now the second reason we train is to not only take care of the bodies, but to take care of the mind. Stellar sea lions are not only active animals, they are also incredibly intelligent animals. They have to problem solve all of the time out in the oceans, like where they're going to find their next meal, how they're going to find it, and how they'll raise their young. So these training sessions requires the animals to put together different behaviors and to require them to problem solve on the fly with the trainers. It helps to work out the different areas of their brains and to create different neural pathways so as to keep not only their bodies active, but also their minds. So physical exercise, mental enrichment, and the third important reason we train here at the aquarium is for health care. So we get these animals to participate in their own health care by training for behaviors that are called husbandry checks. So similar like how we go to the doctor and they'll ask us to breathe in deeply, maybe to open our mouths and say ah, we get these animals to participate in their own healthcare by training for behaviors called husbandry checks. These behaviors might look like getting them to open up their mouths so we can check out their teeth and gums, getting them to present a flipper to us to make sure that they don't have any injuries, and we can even do some advanced healthcare checks with them such as x-rays ultrasounds, and we can even draw blood so that we can make sure they're not only healthy on the outside to the naked eye, but also on the inside. So physical exercise, mental enrichment, and animal health care are the three key components as to why we train here at the aquarium. So now that we know why we train, we can talk a little bit about how you actually can train a close to 1,500-pound animal to do the behaviors that you're asking them to do. So we use a method of training here at the aquarium. It's called positive reinforcement. Who here has heard of positive reinforcement before? Show of hands, a few of us. A few of us may be psychology buffs. Positive reinforcement is essentially giving a desirable item to an animal, or even works on people after completing a specific behavior or task that has been asked of them. Does anybody know what's desirable to a stellar sea lion? Can somebody shout out to me? Anything that's desirable? Yes, fish. Yes, exactly. So fish is the main positive reward here that we use in our training sessions. Oh, we've got Nadine coming up around the glass now. That'll be fun. AMAC here specifically eats 20 kilograms approximately of herring, capelin, and squid every single day. So after he has completed the behavior that's been asked of him, we will then administer that positive reward of fish. It doesn't have to just be fish though. It can also be positive body language from our trainers. You'll notice that Nadine is making eye contact with the animal, smiling, using positive body language. And we can even help reinforce some of these behaviors here as well with a round of applause. So why don't we give AMAC a huge round of applause here. Now, unfortunately, I don't speak sea lion. I don't think anybody else here does either, but if you do, please come up to me after the program. We need to chat. And as far as I know, they don't speak any human languages. So we have to talk to the animals and ask them for these behaviors in slightly different ways. So in these training sessions specifically, we use hand signals. Each hand signal signifies a different behavior, and a combination of hand signals can give us a different combination of behaviors. Free will is also really important in these training sessions. You might notice from time to time that AMAC doesn't want to participate in a certain behavior that's being asked of him. That's okay, that's entirely up to him. We always make sure that he gets the amount of fish that he needs no matter what. If he doesn't want to participate, the trainers will just move on to a different aspect of the training session so as to keep it moving forward and to maintain that strong bond of trust between themselves and the animals. And because of all the amazing things that we've been able to teach these animals in order to take care of their minds, their bodies, and their health, we in turn have been able to learn so much about their species as well. Pretty good example of some free will happening here with AMAC. It is the end of rutting season, so he is a little bit lady motivated as opposed to food motivation. Now, all of the stellar sea lions under our care here have partaken in some really amazing research. We've learned so much about their metabolic rates, their respiratory rates, how they're actually able to dive for the periods of time that they do, and we've also learned a lot about their diet. And all of this research is really important because their population has dropped off by about 85% since the 1980s. So we're working overtime with researchers and universities around the globe to figure out why it is this is actually happening. Now, we can one of the most important studies that we've done has been about diet. So stellar sea lions, they don't become 650 pounds by accident. Oh, 650 kilos, sorry. Don't want to, not give credit where credit is due. He doesn't become 650 kilos by accident. They eat a diet of high-fat fish like salmon and herring. But researchers have found out in recent years that stellar sea lions are shifting their diets and they're not eating the high-fat fish they used to normally eat. And they figured this out by studying something called scat. Who here knows what scat is? Anybody? Poop? Yeah, poop. The scientists are getting their hands literally dirty, sifting through piles of poop, figuring out that they're not eating the high-fat fish that they traditionally do. And this is a big problem for Steller sea lions. They can't gain the weight that they need to survive those cold winters, and it's a big problem for female Steller sea lions because they can't produce high-fat milk for their young. So why are Steller sea lions changing their diets? Well, we can look to humans a little bit with that one. Who here likes salmon? Show of hands, how many salmon fans do we have in the crowd? That is where the problem lies, unfortunately, myself included. There's not enough high-fat fish to go around in our oceans for the marine mammals you see here in this habitat and for all of us. Now, luckily, there are some really small things that we can do today to advocate for Steller sea lions and help out their populations in our oceans. The first thing that we can do is shop a bit more sustainably. We can opt for either lower fat fish in our diet, or we can look for that ocean-wise symbol on our food at the grocery store or at restaurants to make sure that we are eating more sustainably sourced fish. The second thing that we can do is, if you're up to the challenge, my lovely friend Adam here on my right hand side has a poster with a QR code on it that links you to a petition that is asking nations around the world to commit to conserving 30% of our lands and oceans by 2030. If we conserve if we conserve areas where high-fat fish like to spawn, or rookeries where sea lions like to raise their pups, that is a great way that we can advocate for all the animals, not only here under our care, but across our entire globe.